I recently read a study that totally shifted how I view sexual positions and female satisfaction. The research examined which positions were most effective at helping women achieve orgasm. And I have to say, certain results genuinely astonished me. After reviewing the study, I did something rather unusual. I invited 7 of my dearest friends over for wine one night, and we had one of those open, candid discussions about sex that women share when we feel secure and at ease. I wanted to see if their real-life encounters aligned with what the research indicated. And guess what? They matched almost exactly. So today I'm revealing what science reveals about the top positions for aiding a woman to reach orgasm, what my friends validated from their personal stories, and at the end I'll share the position that shocked everyone, including me. Because there's one position where most women in the study rarely climaxed. But here's the surprise. It's actually my personal favorite. And I'll clarify why that is. I'm Dr. Nancy Starr, your reliable men's health expert. We're diving into some straightforward talk today about what truly delivers for female enjoyment based on solid research and genuine women's accounts. All right, let's discuss the first position that both the study and my friends verified works reliably for achieving orgasm. Classic missionary with a pillow beneath her hips. Now, when I raised this with my friends that night, every one of them nodded in agreement. One of them, Sarah, she's been married for 15 years. She said this is her reliable choice when she truly wants to finish. And she described precisely why. When you're above a woman and she has a pillow lifting her hips, you're establishing the ideal angle for combined stimulation. Let me explain what that involves. First, there's the emotional aspect. You're face-to-face gazing into each other's eyes. That builds profound emotional intimacy. And for women, emotional intimacy heightens physical enjoyment. It's not merely about the mechanics. It's about feeling desired, craved, noticed. When she can gaze into your eyes, that heightens everything. But here's the scientific aspect the study emphasized. When you're on top and you're rocking forward and back, not just thrusting in and out, but rocking, you're contacting her clitoris. When you're able to stimulate her clitoris while penetrating her simultaneously, you're generating combined action stimulation. She's receiving clitoral stimulation, which is how most women achieve orgasm, plus penetration. When you combine both of those, it's remarkably effective. The study indicated that women were considerably more likely to achieve orgasm when the man was on top with a pillow underneath, rocking against the clitoral zone. And my friend Jessica endorsed this. She's always been very straightforward, and she said the rocking motion is absolutely essential. She said most guys believe it's about thrusting harder or deeper, but it's really about that forward pressure and friction against her clitoris. The pillow transforms everything because it angles her pelvis upward. This ensures superior contact between your pubic bone and her clitoral area when you rock forward. Without that lift, you might be at an angle where there's hardly any clitoral contact at all. One of my friends summed it up perfectly. She said, when a man grasps that rocking motion, when he stays deep and sways his hips forward, generating that pressure, that's when she can truly finish. Otherwise, she's just experiencing penetration, which feels nice, but it's not going to get her there. So, when you're in this position, remember, it's not about speed or depth. It's about sustaining that contact and pressure against her clitoral area while you're inside her. That blend is what the research demonstrated produces reliable outcomes. The second position that the study emphasized and my friends fully confirmed is when a woman is on top of you leaning forward. When I brought up this position, one of my friends actually chuckled and said, "This is the only position where she has command over precisely what she requires." And that's really the core here. In this position, she's facing you, leaning toward you, and there's that face-to-face intimacy again. But what makes this position so powerful is that she has total control over the angle, the depth, and most crucially, the clitoral stimulation. She can grind against your pubic bone in exactly the manner that feels best to her. She can modify the pressure, the speed, the rhythm. Everything is under her control, and that command is tremendously effective for helping her achieve orgasm. Now, I know some men aren't big fans of this position because they feel like they're not contributing much. But here's what my friend said elevates it even more. When she's on top of you and leaning forward, grasp her hips on each side and direct her movements. Pull her into you with purpose. One of them said, when a man does this, when he grips her hips and draws her down onto him, It totally transforms the experience because even though she's on top, he's still actively involved. He's demonstrating that he desires her, that he's present, that he's not just lying there idly. That assertive energy, even when she's in the dominant role, connects to something instinctive. We want to feel desired and guided even when we're technically leading. When she's leaning forward, her clitoris is connecting with your lower abdomen or pubic bone. As she rocks back and forth, she's producing that same combined stimulation, clitoral contact plus penetration, and because she directs the movement, she can discover exactly the right angle and pressure that suits her unique body. The study noted something crucial here. Every woman's anatomy differs slightly. The distance between the vaginal entrance and the clitoris varies. When she's on top, she can adapt to ensure she's receiving what she requires. That's why this position displayed such strong success rates for orgasm. You can also improve this with your hands. Caress her breasts while she's moving. Glide your hands along her sides. Draw her down for a kiss. Those caresses make all the difference because they maintain that bond strong and show you're involved. Now here's where the discussion with my friends became truly fascinating. Because while these two positions are validated to assist women in reaching orgasm, they all agreed that they can become monotonous over time. And this matters. Variety is essential. Not every position will deliver the same level of orgasm intensity. But variety sustains excitement. It keeps the spark alive, the unpredictability fresh. When you confidently shift her body into different positions, that element of surprise is incredibly appealing. Sarah said she adores when her husband switches positions during sex because it demonstrates confidence. It shows he knows what he's doing, that he's leading, that he's not just following a routine. That unpredictability keeps her drawn to him. Those two positions build intimacy and dependable results. But women also crave passion, intensity, and variety. We want that surprising moment, that position that feels wild and thrilling. So, use those two positions as your base when you want to help her finish. But don't hesitate to incorporate other positions earlier for excitement and passion. Begin with something more intense, then shift into one of these validated positions when you're nearing the peak. Now, before I reveal the surprising position from the study, I need to mention something that affects everything we've covered: blood flow. Because no matter what position you're using, if blood isn't circulating properly to the genitals, arousal and orgasm become far more challenging. Both men and women have erectile tissue that needs to fill with blood for peak pleasure and sensation. For women, adequate blood flow to the clitoris and vaginal tissue produces the swelling that boosts sensitivity. When blood flow is limited, whether from stress, poor heart health, or reduced nitric oxide levels as we age, it's tougher to become fully aroused and achieve orgasm. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator, which means it helps relax and widen blood vessels so blood can circulate more freely. Greater blood flow to the genitals means improved sensitivity, stronger feelings, and more powerful experiences. This applies to both men and women. When blood flow is ideal, everything functions better. So, while technique and position are important, don't ignore cardiovascular fitness, stress reduction, and circulation. All right. Now here's the segment that astonished me and sparked the most engaging part of our discussion that evening. The study investigated which position was least likely to lead to female orgasm. And when I read this, I was genuinely taken aback because this is actually my favorite position. Are you ready? It's doggy style. According to the research, this position had the lowest rate of women achieving orgasm. And when I brought this up to my friends, 6 out of 7 instantly agreed. They said, yes, that position feels powerful, it's thrilling, it's passionate, but they seldom, if ever, finish in that position. But here's where I differed from both the study and most of my friends. This is actually my favorite position, even though I don't typically climax from it. Let me explain why that is, and why this is truly a valuable lesson. The study pinpointed 2 reasons why women are less likely to climax in this position. First, there's no face-to-face intimacy. She's facing away from you, not viewing your eyes, your expression, your body, and intimacy matters for enhancing pleasure. Second, and this is the main reason, her clitoris isn't receiving stimulation naturally in this position. The study showed that most women require clitoral stimulation to reach orgasm. When you generate combined stimulation, clitoral and internal, that's when women achieve orgasm most reliably. In doggy style, The clitoris receives no attention unless you reach around manually. So, scientifically, it makes sense why fewer women climax in this position. But here's what I shared with my friends. And here's what I want you to grasp. Just because a position doesn't produce climax doesn't mean it's not deeply pleasurable. For me, this position delivers something unique. It's primal. It's intense. It feels wild and passionate. There's a psychological component to it that I truly adore, even though I know I'm probably not going to finish from it. And this is the crucial takeaway I want you to carry. Sex isn't solely about the orgasm. It's about the complete experience, the variety, the diverse sensations, the emotional path. Some positions are ideal for generating that powerful, passionate energy. Others are validated to help her reach orgasm. When you comprehend what each position provides, you can employ them purposefully. So don't skip doggy style just because the study indicates women are less likely to climax from it. Use it for what it delivers, that intensity and primal thrill. Then transition to one of those science-supported positions when you're prepared to help her finish. One of my friends said her partner does precisely this. He'll begin with something exciting and intense, build that passion, then shift into missionary or her on top when they're nearing the end. He recognizes that different positions serve distinct purposes. Here's the core message from both the research and real women's experiences. The two positions most effective at helping her reach orgasm are missionary with a pillow under her hips and woman on top leaning forward. Both generate clitoral stimulation and face-to-face intimacy. The position least likely to produce orgasm is doggy style because it lacks both of those elements. But that doesn't mean you should avoid it. It provides intensity and variety that sustain excitement. Use those two validated positions as your foundation for helping her finish. Incorporate other positions for excitement, passion, and spontaneity. Understand what each position achieves and use them deliberately. Start with passion. Build intimacy. Finish with one of these science-supported positions that generate the combined stimulation she requires. Try these insights the next time you're intimate and observe how she reacts. Notice the difference when you prioritize clitoral stimulation and intimacy. Your connection is worth exploring, and knowing what truly works makes you a better, more assured partner. Thanks for watching. From Dr. Nancy Starman Health.